Argentina just passed a law. Company can now have no human CEO, no human shareholders, no human directors, just AI running everything. And my first reaction was, of course they did, because this was always coming. But the question that nobody is asking is the right one. If a company doesn't need a human, what is a human for? That's what we're talking about today. The Argentina story. Javier Milei, excuse pronunciation, submitted legislation for something called a non-human corporation. He even wrote about it in the Financial Times. AI signs the contracts. AI holds the assets. AI pays the taxes. The CEO slot is empty. See where we're going with this? The shareholder slot, optional. Now, I was like, hold on, this is a publicity stunt. And I think some people are calling it that. But I don't think so. I think it's a test case. And other countries are watching because wherever accountability disappears, someone still pays the price. It's always a human. Always. So what's the real question? Here is what keeps me up at night about all this. Not the technology, the accountability gap. When something goes wrong inside a non-human corporation, and it will go wrong, who answers for it? The software does not go to court. The software does not lose sleep. The software does not look family in the eye and say, look, I got this wrong. That moment, that is still ours. And I actually think that's the point. It's not a weakness. It's the whole point. Effort. This is the bit nobody talks about. Let me just shift gears a minute because I want to talk about something more personal. Learning fast, real learning, not consuming content fast, not taking a course fast, actually rewiring how you think fast. Because look, we've got neuroplasticity. I've been doing Tai Chi and internal strength training called Neigong for 30 years. And I'm not going to go into the depths of the Cheng Ting Hung lineage, but I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for several years now. I got a blue belt and I am working towards purple despite taking a little bit of a break to learn coding. And I usually train weights 2 to 3 times a week. And none of that I know is relevant to AI, except it completely is, because here's what those disciplines taught me. You do not learn a new domain from scratch. You transfer pattern recognition from somewhere else. On the mat, before someone moves, there is a shift, a tiny weight transfer, a breath, a micro tension in the shoulder. You learn to read that before the move happens. That is not BJJ skill. That is human pattern recognition. Trained under pressure, in an unfamiliar environment with real consequences if you get it wrong. And that is exactly the skill that you need right now if you're going to get it right. Not AI knowledge, the ability to read what's happening before everybody else sees it, to stay calm when the situation is genuinely new, to make a sound with incomplete information. You already have a version of that skill from something completely different. The fastest learners that I've met in over 500 interviews on influential visions over 10 years were never the people who studied the hardest. They were the people who already knew how to learn under pressure from somewhere else entirely. And that transfers every time. So if you bring it together, here is where Argentina and effort connect. President is solving one problem. How do you run a company without humans? But the leaders who will actually win in the next decade are solving a completely different problem. How do you become the human that cannot be removed. Not because you fight the technology, because you have something the technology cannot replicate. Accountability, genuine trust built over years, a point of view that comes from lived experience, the ability to be in the room when the consequences are real. That is not some corporate soft skills language. That is a competitive position, and it's one you can build. Starting with how you learn, starting with what you already know from somewhere totally different. Argentina will not be the last country to try this. More legislation is coming. More humans will be removed from organizational charts. But also, this actually may solve a very large hole that needs filling within the public domain and the finances. But the humans that will remain will be worth more, not less. The distance between where you are now and where you need to be is shorter than you think. You just have to do the work. I appreciate you listening. And if this landed, subscribe to Future Proofed Leader on Substack. Every week I give you the signal without the noise. The link is somewhere around, probably in the description. Thank you for listening.